Hello everyone, welcome to Island English Academy. In this episode, we are going to learn about the 10th class first unit about personality development. In the personality development, we are going to discuss about the lesson Attitude is Altitude. Here, we are in textbook and you are given three inspiring lessons. The first one is Attitude is Altitude. The second one is every success story is also a story of great failures. And C section contains about one more biography. I will do it. Now let's come to the first lesson. The first lesson you are given about some different kinds of people pictures. There, Mr. Stephen Hawking, Ms. Sudha Murthy, and Miss Helen Keller. In order to introduce the lesson, you are given about the pictures and followed by different kinds of introductory questions. So here, what qualities have made these persons great? You know about Mr. Stephen Hawking and Sudha Chandran, Helen Keller. Sudha Chandran, she is an amputee. Though she is an amputee, she overcome many obstacles and she became a dancer. Besides Helen Keller, she is blind and deaf, but though she has inspired many people. Coming to Mr. Stephen Hawking, he is a famous scientist. Though he suffered and wheelchaired since many decades, his mind could not stop from thinking. He has given much knowledge to the science world. But recently he has passed away. So these are the legendary people we can say. And now let's come to the lesson attitude is altitude. Here attitude means our attitude, our thinking. Here I've mentioned vocabulary, a settled way of thinking or feeling about something is our altitude. Altitude means you know that it's a highest place. I height of an object or point in relation sea level. It's a highest place. Okay. The meaning is that our attitude is only the altitude, the highest place. With our attitude, we can overcome from many problems and we become triumph. And here, given about the biography of Mr. Nick Vujicic, he is a torso. He suffered with phocomelia, though he does not have hands and legs, just like a normal person. He inspired many people, and he is one of the famous orator. That his biography has been given in the lesson by saying that imagine if you don't have hands and legs. See, when we feel cool, just we stretch, we wrap blanket, and of course we stretch while sleeping, or we stretch our body while sleeping, and of course without hands and legs we do many activities. Imagine if you don't have, the life will become vulnerable. However, Nick Vujicic, without hands and legs, he showed that he can live happily. He inspired the other persons. Here, his mother was a nurse, his father was a computer science teacher. His mother has taken care a lot during her pregnancy, though she had taken many precautions, but Nick Vujicic was born where his mother was unwilling to take him. His father immediately he went outside and he vomited by seeing Nick Vujicic. Slowly, gradually, they overcame from that, and Nick's father joined him in a regular school, in a mainstream school, because he would want Nick to live as a normal person. That is why he joined. He took admission, and in a mainstream school, Nick Vujicic suffered a lot. Many people bullied him, and of course, many a times actually he would like to kill himself. But at the age of 13, he inspired by reading an article, and he understood that he had a handsome face. With his face, he could attract many people. He concluded, and there he started living by himself. Now, next Vujicic, he can brush himself, he can cook himself, he play golf, he play football, he can swim, he can surf too. And many people were inspired by him, and of course he came to India. That is about the total biography of Nick Vujicic. Now we'll go ahead with the lesson reading. Here I mentioned the vocabulary. My dear children, better keep a notes aside or a textbook so that you can write down the vocabulary. Okay. So attitude is altitude. Imagine having no arms to stretch. To stretch means here it was given straighten or extend. Extend body parts in the morning to help you scratch that itch, to allow you to wrap. Wrap means cover or enclose your arms around your loved ones. Imagine having no legs to kick pebbles down the street, to walk or run, to bicycle or skateboard, or get you from point A to point B. Then imagine both at once, which is what Nick Vujicic. Here, this is Nick Vujicic, which is not Nick Vujicic. Okay? Nick Vujicic has faced his whole life. Have you heard something like this before? Here, this is an introductory passage where he's saying that without legs or arms, it is highly impossible. For example, in our childhood days or now also, see while you are walking on a road, you kick a pebble. Imagine if you do not have legs. During the rainy season or during the winter season, you would like to wrap blanket. Imagine if you don't have hands. Similarly, if you would like to ride a bicycle, imagine if you don't have hands and legs, or to run or to walk. It is highly impossible and really pathetic. Okay, but however, Nick Vujicic faced his whole life. That he said. Now, Nick Vujicic was born with no arms or legs, but he doesn't let the details stop him. The brave 26-year-old who is mainly torso. Torso means the main part of the body, not including the head, arms or legs. Plays football, golf, swims, and surfs despite means though or even though. Having no limbs. Limbs means an arm or a leg of a person. So here, Nick was born with no arms or legs, but he doesn't let the details stop him. Means he doesn't make himself stop by playing football or golf or swimming or surfing. Okay, if we do not have these hands and legs, of course, we will go to monotonous and we'll go, deep grief, and we would not like to come outside also. But however, he didn't think about that. Would like to show his ability, there he showed. Next, Nick has a small foot on his left hip which help him balance and enables him to kick. He uses his one foot to type, write with a pen and pick things up between his toes. So he has a small foot and he would do all the work. I call it my chicken drumstick, joked Nick. That small foot, what he called? Yes, he called as a chicken drumstick, joked Nick, who was born in Melbourne, Australia, but now lives in Los Angeles. I would be lost without it. If you can't get a miracle, become one. Nick Vujicic. Due to his faith as an evangelical Christian, Nick has chosen to remain a virgin until marriage, although he has had long term girlfriends in the past. He is very modest. Modest means unassuming or moderate in the estimation of one's abilities or achievements or reserved. He's a reserved person. Okay. He's very modest, but he gets marriage proposals from women all the time, said Nick's friend, publicist Steve Appel from Los Angeles. So he's saying that though he does not have arms and legs, but because of his abilities, he would get marriage proposals from different kinds of people. Next, he would love to get married and start a family, but he is waiting for the right girl to come along. Water sports aren't Nick's only thing. He also plays golf with a club tucked under his chin and is a huge fan of English Premier League. Nick not only plays water sports, he also plays golf with a club tucked. Tucked means kept under his chin. There will while playing golf, you know that it's a long stick is there. So he tucked in the under his chin and he plays. And he is a huge fan of English Premier League, like how we have in cricket IPL, IPL like that. This it is for golf. It's different kinds of championship. Next, his parents decided not to send him to a special school. A decision he said was very hard for him, but which may have been the best decision they could have made for him. His parents, I told you earlier during the introduction, so his parents would not like to send him to the special school, would like to be joined with a mainstream students only. Of course, it was very hard to him, but however, how he worked later, he understood. Next, when Nick was born, his father was so shocked that he left the hospital room to vomit. He's distraught. Distraught means very worried and upset. His distraught mother couldn't bring herself to hold him until he was 4 months old. Imagine, until he was 4 months old, she would not like to take him closer because she shocked like that. Next, his ability came without any medical explanation, a rare occurrence. Occurrence means an incident or event called phocomelia. Phocomelia means, so this is the thing, that's the disease name, a rare congenital deformity in which the hands or feet are attached close to the trunk, the limbs being grossly underdeveloped or absent. Okay, so that is called phocomelia. So imagine just phocomelia means no arms and legs. That's it. Without no arms and legs, he was born. That is called the disease called phocomelia. Next, and Nick and his parents spent many years asking why this cruel trick would happen to them. My mother was a nurse and she did everything right during pregnancy, but she still blamed herself, he said. So, hope you have understood this one. It was so hard for them, but right from the start, they did their best to make me independent. Here, Nick was saying. So here, Nick was saying that it was called Focomelia, and Nick and his parents also had been thinking that why this cruel trick happened to them only, why I was born like that. Nick and his parents had been thinking. Next, it was so hard for them, but right to start, they did their best to make me independent. But from starting onwards, they made him independent. My dad put me in the water at 18 months and gave the courage to learn how to swim. I also got really into football and skateboarding. I totally love the English Premier League. Nick's father was a computer programmer and accountant, and he taught his little son how to type with his toe at just 6 years old. His mom invented a special plastic device that meant he could hold a pen and pencil. In this way, they would make him to live by himself, do the things by himself. By 18 months, his father tried to make him swim, and at the 6 years old his mother invented to hold a plastic device to hold a pen and pencil. Like, next, despite the risk of bullying means, you know very well, seek to harm or intimidate. Okay, generally you people when a kind of panic people or a little bit of covered people are there, you make them tease or you make them scare. That is called bullying. Okay. Next, despite the risk of bullying, his parents insisted Nick attend to mainstream school. It was the best decision they could have made for me, as Nick, who later achieved a degree in financial planning and real estate. It was very hard, but it gave me independence. During his childhood, really, Nick had been thinking that why his parents joined him in a mainstream school. But later he realized that because of that independence has been gave him a lot of confidence. He successfully completed mainstream school and later he hold a degree in financial planning and real estate. Nick, who was teased and bullied, had an electric wheelchair for mobility and team of carers to help him now. Nick, who was teased and bullied earlier when he was childhood, he was teased and bullied, but now he had an electric chair for mobilizing. Mobilizing means gathering. Mobility means a gather. Okay, and of course, along with him, some team of carers are there to help him. Next, I was deeply depressed when I was 8 years old. He said, I went to my mom crying and told her I wanted to kill myself. He said that when he was 8 years old, because of his defect, he went and saying that he would like to kill himself. Where it was happened at the age of 8. Next, I felt cold and bitter. I hated God for doing this to me and was terrified. Terrified means caused to feel extreme fear. Caused to feel extreme fear. What would happen when my parents weren't there to look after me? I felt cold and bitter. I hated God. I felt cold and bitter means he felt that something cruel happened to him and he hated God like anything. And sometimes just really he feared that if his parents were not there, what he would become, what his position was. Next, I could brush my own teeth with a wall mounted brush and wash my own hair with compaction soap, but there was so much that was impossible for me. At the age of 10, Nick tried to drown himself in the bath, but luckily, so here, now he could brush himself and he could wash his hair, and of course, he was saying still so many things were there which were not able to do. Next, at age of 10, he would like to drown. Drown himself means put himself under the water and killing himself. He is called drown. But luckily, the attempt was unsuccessful. I felt there was no purpose when you lack purpose, and strength it is hard to hold on, he said. So here you are saying, I felt there was no purpose. When you lack purpose and strength, it is hard to hold on. Okay. So you felt that there was no purpose when you lack purpose. When you lack purpose means if you do not have, for example, you would like to do one thing. If there is no purpose, what is the purpose of doing that? That's a meaning. Okay. So he felt that when why I should kill myself because there was no purpose to kill himself that he felt. Next, he said, but with the help of his religion, friends, and family, that I felt there was no purpose. When you lack purpose and strength, it is hard to hold on. He felt that there was no purpose at all because there is no purpose of anything. So that is why he would like to do like that. However, because of his religion, friends, and family, Nick managed to pull through to become an international symbol of a triumph. Triumph means a great victory or achievement over adversity. Adversity means a difficult or unpleasant situation. When I was 13, I read a newspaper article about a disabled man who managed to achieve great things and help others, said Nick. With this, he realized and he inspired by him. I realized why God had made us like this to give hope to others, he understood. It was so inspirational to me that I decided to use my life to encourage other people and give them the courage that the article had given me. The article has given him a lot of courage. I decided to be thankful for what I do have, not get angry about what I don't. He realized that and he decided that what he had, he should be thankful, and what he does not have, he would not feel any kind of angry. Next, I looked at myself in the mirror and said, you know, what the world is right that I have no arms and legs, but they will never take away the beauty of my eyes. I wanted to concentrate on something good that I had. He understood that there was no purpose. Why should I think about which I don't have? I don't have arms and legs, but okay, no problem. But I have beautiful face and pretty face, no. So I should concentrate on that. He realized that. Next, the challenges in our lives are there to strengthen. Strengthen means make or becomes stronger. Strengthens our convictions. Conviction means a firmly held belief or opinion. So the challenges in our lives are there to strengthen our beliefs. They are not there to run us over. They are not there to defeat you. That's the meaning here. Said Nick. In 1990, Nick won the Australian Young Citizen of the Year award for his bravery and perseverance. Perseverance means persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay achieving success. Okay? In Telugu, it is called Krishi Pattudala, like that. Next, here, when kids run up to me and ask what happened, I just lean over and whisper, cigarettes, he laughed. This sentence actually is not there. Lesson actually here in Telangana board, this sentence is not there, but however, AP board it is appeared. So it is just while seeing the person, while seeing many people see Nick and saying what happened. Just he simply said he cracked a joke that cigarettes. He cracks a joke that cigarettes. Next, and once I was in car and a girl at traffic lights was giving me the eye. Means she was looking at him. She could only see my head, so I decided to do a 360-degree in the seat to freak her out. Freak her out means make somebody shock. Okay, imagine that actually he sat and caught, okay, driving seat, and he does not have legs, he does not have hands. So what he did in seat itself only, he rounded 360 degrees, he rounded himself. Okay. Generally if you sit on car and driving seat, can you do like that? You can't do. Okay. So Here he did very, very ease, with the ease he did that. So, so that she shocked. And her face was like, wow, what is going on? She sped off really quickly. She drove a car very fast. Next, Nick began traveling the world, and in 2008 he went to Hawaii and met surfing master Bethany Hamilton, who had her arm bitten off by a shark when she was 12. Not he was. It is she was 12. When she was 12, Bethany Hamilton got bitten by a shark and her hand was taken. Next, she was amazing, said Nick. She taught me how to surf and I was terrified and shocked at first, but once I got up there, it felt absolutely fantastic. Fantastic means extraordinarily good or attractive. Okay? And I caught some waves pretty means quite well. Nick quickly learned how to do 360-degree spins on his board, a feat that got him on the cover of a surfer magazine within 48 hours. No one has ever done that in the history of surfing, he said. But I have a very low center of gravity. Gravity means here it is given the force that attracts a body towards the center of the earth or towards any other physical body having a mass. Gravity means with the gravity just we can easily lift like this. Okay. So I have got pretty good balance. Next, he has visited different countries all over the world. The football fans and now a motivational speaker and has traveled to over 24 countries speaking to groups of up to 110,000 people, means 110,000 people. He moved to Los Angeles 2 years ago and plans to continue to travel the world. This year he will visit South America and the Middle East. He's saying, if I fail, I try again and again and again. If you fail, are you going to try again? The human spirit can handle much worse than we realize. It matters how you are going to finish. Are you going to finish strong or are you going to finish weak? Like that said Nick. I tell people to keep on getting up when they fall and to always love themselves, he said. Saying that when you fail, you love yourself. If you do not love yourself, who will love you? When you lose, you yourself motivate. The self motivation is important. Okay, that is intention here. I tell people to keep on getting up, just going on, honing yourself and brushing yourself, gain a confidence yourself. Because you are the best motivator of yourself. Nobody will motivate you as you motivate yourself. Remember this one. Next, if I can encourage just one person, then my job in this life is done. He's saying, if I encourage one person, my job in this life is done. Of course, not only many persons he encouraged, not only one person he encouraged, many persons he encouraged, and lakhs of people or his fans, including me also. So this is about Nick Vujicic biography. Hope you people are inspired. And coming to the questionnaire session, see, coming to the especially discourses. Imagine you are interviewing Nick Vujicic, such kind of interview questions or diary entry. Coming to the diary entry, imagine you are Nick Vujicic and you are teased and bullied in your school. So, draft a diary after coming home. Just what are your feeling? Draft a diary. Like these questions will come, my dear children. So, based on that one, you can write yourself. You can do yourself. Similarly, every time you read lesson, don't read the questions and don't mug up. You read the questions, your own answers will be awarded than the mugging up itself. Okay, children, let's see the vocabulary now. Here it is given attitude, altitude, stretch, wrap, torso, despite, limbs, tugged, distraught, occurrence, tocomelia, bullying, terrified, triumph, adversity, strengthen, conviction, perseverance, freak, fantastic, pretty, and gravity. These are the vocabulary, children. Please note down in your notebook. It will be very useful for your vocabulary also. Okay, children. Thank you for watching and happy learning. I wish you all the best.